Oh, did the cherry still in the title? Yes. Doesn't need to be there. How many Slark games? Like 800. Morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Still not fully used to waking up at this time, so I had to go get myself some coffee. Mic audio is minimal. I think I'm just talking quietly. Oh, the music's just really loud. I didn't have my headphones on. Yeah. How did my little bear sleep? Am I your little bear? Answer is yes, then I slept like a honey or something. I don't know. Something bear related. Too tired to make a joke. Okay. Sorry, as I was like reading the long message for replay analysis. Is screen frozen? No, I was just reading. I was like, I only raw dog. Hope your gonorrhea is better. And Azad, thank you for the 25. Sorry, that's misleading. Sigma. I hadn't put the overlay yet. Huh? It's hard to forget the guy whose name is I only raw dog telling you that he got a gonorrhea. No BSJ voice line this year. Yeah. It is kind of sad. Word of advice: when you travel to Southeast Asia, wrap your tool. Noted. Thank you. Okay, guys, now that I've done that during the replay analysis that I marked, I'll probably reset it to 13 minutes so the guy that does my replays doesn't like wonder why I'm talking about STDs. Okay. Got ourselves in a Baden replay. 1000 MMR. He says, God, I'm having issues tabbing out, guys. He says that, thank you for the last replay review. Thought about what he was doing a lot in lane. I'm summarizing this. Whether or not he had to stay with his support. He said last time I said he looked like he was raging, but he was actually just thought he could do something. But I pointed out that the Tide was 3 times his net worth in that game, and he never really thought about it. But the fact that the Tide is the offlaner, that makes it pretty obvious. So now he's thinking more about people's relative net worths in the game. This game was with Sven. Felt like he needed a decent amount of help because he was against CK Marcy. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's check it out.
Oh, it's so in the bag. Remember what happened the last time you said that?
You're a trusty mate.
30 seconds to battle.
Against this many stunts, like CK Marcy, CM Juggler, like just on a scale of 1 to 10, I think their level 1 is insanely strong. It's really important to place rune wards. It's really important to just place a ward here. Or if you're the 4 position, to place it like here. Basically, you're not just helping yourself, but you're helping your team. Maybe at 1k MMR, they won't make use of it, but like, if I'm bottom and you have a ward here and I don't see anybody here, that actually tells me a lot, right? That tells me that they're probably somewhere else. But yeah, this game in particular, their level 1's like insanely scary. And you guys just have no vision. So fortunately, you had 3 teammates together down here, but it'll just help prevent random feeds. What I mean by help prevent is your team may just walk in and die anyway, but it'll definitely decrease the likelihood of that happening. So you already, last time we mentioned you were level 1 last replay. So level 1 of last replay, you were busy like dewarding camps and stuff. And I basically said, like, you're not allowed to do that. You have to lane with your core, like, wave 1. I've actually lost a lot of lanes where my support's just 20 seconds late, 10 seconds late. I can tell you it happens in my bracket too. It's just something you have to try to avoid. But now that you're going to be here, we have to talk about it, right? So this is something that I want to teach a 1k MMR support when half the supports in my games don't do it, okay? So I tell my carry players all the time to think about lane equilibrium, right? And we have carry players do CS trainer such that they can think about all the things they need to think about while they're CSing. So I'm going to first and foremost tell you should probably do some CS trainer on a Abaddon. Like, just load up the learn tab, go to tier 3 and just play some CS trainer on a Abaddon. And the reason why I think CS trainer is important for supports is not only because there are going to be times where you're supposed to CS, but I already had a support player that I'm working with. She said that recognizing when her teammate was not able to get the CS allowed her to get an extra 3 or 4 CS per lane, and thus, like, having the CS trainer help her work on when CS is dying and all that kind of stuff is really important. But needless to say, what I'm getting at from CS trainer is that when you CS trainer, you one of the number one things you have to pay attention to is which creep is going to die next at all times. Like, you just get this feel internally of, okay, that's the next creep that's going to die. Okay, then that one, then that one, then that one. And you kind of like have to constantly be monitoring which creep in the lane is going to die. And that dictates literally everything you do. Okay, like literally every move you make in the lane is dictated by which creep is going to die next. So if your movements don't match the creeps, I immediately know you don't think like this, okay? And that's fine. Most people don't. I'm telling you, most people in my bracket don't. So if you look at this scenario, the second that CK pulls aggro to his range creep, you can see right now in this like pause of an obvious scenario that the range creep on the enemy team is going to be the next creep to die. So what that means is that if you're going to be strong enough to walk in, if you're going to walk in at all, it has to be right here. It has to be with your Sven. Ideally, maybe he's not going to do it, but we want it to not be not you, okay? Meaning if one of you two is not going to do this, we want it to not be you, right? So we need you to walk in aggressively at the CK. If the Marcy was like right here, then you could walk at the Marcy. But anyone in this area, right, you would walk at them with shield on, because the range creep is really important, and try to get at them ahead of time. Because shield is not like a way of securing the creep immediately. Say you're CM, right? You could like sit right here and just like nuke this if your Sven wasn't going to get it. But since you're a hero like Undying or Abaddon, where your nuke isn't reliable at helping you actually finish the creep, but you have something that allows you to walk at the opponent, you know, you use Decay, you use Abaddon shield, then you should start walking at this guy literally right now with shield on, attacking him, right? And, but instead we're going to see you go all the way over here. And I know this seems like such a nitpicky thing to talk about, right? But I want you to see that these micro movements are the, like, what make you a support. Like, it's just what defines you, basically. Okay. So, one thing that you did not gauge. So, whenever I'm thinking about regen at the start of the game, I think of tangos. If I think my ally is going to be the one predominantly getting harassed, because I can give them tangos. And then I give myself a salve if, at the start of the game, if I intend to soak damage for my carry, right? Because it's just not very efficient anymore to salve your carry. So if it's a lane that's like stun heavy, burst heavy, so there's trade lanes and there's stun lanes and like kill lanes, right? So you're obviously against a kill lane in this case. Kill lanes tend to like not do very much damage to you periodically, but they will do a lot of damage to you when they cast like all their spells on you. Like you just saw there, you know, that's an example of what I mean. So if you're going to play like this against a kill lane, this is something that you need to gauge before you go into the lane. This needs to be a salve, right? This needs to be a salve and a mango rather than a Sage's Mask. Because right now that you don't have a salve, you're god-awfully useless for the next time that the opponent has abilities. And buying yourself a salve is definitely... So, like, here's how I look at it. If you bought yourself a salve, salved up right now, and then just ran at them, made them use spells on you again, right? Then suddenly this lane is, like, free for Sven. Because the opponent just cast, like, 400 mana of spells and didn't do a single point of damage to Sven, right? But now you're going to be a little bit more passive, that's fine. But you are helping with CS more than most people in your MMR, which is very good. Same thing here. I need you to help your Sven go for this. Notice how every range creep, he's basically by himself. It's really bad. It happens in my bracket all the time. I'm telling you, it's like scarring. Please monitor range creeps. They're the hardest creeps for carriers to get because, especially against stun lanes, because it just puts us in the most risk. We have to walk really far up to get these. Notice how Sven's been like stunning from a distance. Honestly, like pretty surprising awareness from a 1k MMR carry player. Like, he's walking up to get CS, but he's never going for range creeps, and he's stunning them. Like, that's actually pretty fucking good. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's like, this guy is pretty good at this, but then he doesn't buy items. So, you know, that's 1k for you. But yeah, so don't leave him hanging there. Don't leave him stranded. Okay. Be right back. Sorry. Nothing to wake you up in the morning like fucking bolting down some stairs, boys. And up. You seem like a great teacher coach, but to someone who's never played this game, it's totally impenetrable. I mean, if you like submitted a replay or somebody asked a question and told me they were new to the game, I obviously wouldn't talk to them like this. Like, this guy's just played a lot of Dota even though he's 1K, right? No offense, person. Okay. So what happened here was that whenever you get kills, often the lane's going to get pushed. Because a lot of times when you cast spells, they have some sort of AoE. Or you aggroed creeps, in which case it's going to push the lane. And if your solution is to pull afterwards, then you need to do that before the enemy that you killed is alive again. So what that means is that, like, looking at the timer, like, say the lane, the wave that was coming was like right here right now, then you'd probably try to walk over to here and pull it up. That's probably what you do. But right now, you know, maybe 10 seconds from now, you're going to be over here and pull it, right? And the reason why I say this, let's be clear. You get a kill, lane's pushing. This is like a somewhat common scenario. You have two choices. One, to continue being aggressive, or two, go pull, right? That's basically your two choices. And my answer is basically, do I feel like we have the potential to still be aggressive? Yes, be aggressive. No, go pull, right? So right here, I see that Sven has 1,200 gold stashed up. You know, very standard 1K things. Talk about it all the time. And so I'd see that he has 1,200 gold, no health, no mana. And so that means I'm going to go pull. So instead, we stick around with our Sven to help him CS when he has 9 creeps against 4. The Marcy was dead, so he just didn't need our help right there. And now we're going to be late for the pull. Or it's not that we're late for the pull, you go pull. But the fact that you tried to pull this camp at 246 instead of this camp at 243 means that the Marcy can respawn, walk over, stop you, right? So it may seem like pretty precise, but at the end of the day, pulling this camp is easier for Marcy to contest, and you just have to be able to gauge when she respawns if she's going to be able to stop you or not, right? So you waited for a pull that she could stop pretty easily rather than doing the other one. But the thing is, you do attempt to pull, which is good. You got 2 of the creeps, not bad at all. I think it would have just been better to do the small camp. But now the lane's pushing into you. Yeah, it's actually... So you go for a pull, which is nice. But it actually nets a bad result here. When I say bad result, so it's not a bad result. By waiting so long to pull after you had such a huge wave, basically what happens is the lane shoots really hard into the enemy tower. Just like 9 creeps run into enemy tower. And then by pulling, you're removing some of your own creeps. And then the wave's basically going to slingshot. It's basically just a rubber band. It's going to rubber band back towards you, okay? The harder it goes into their tower, usually the harder it goes back into yours. That's just something you can kind of notice when you keep an eye out for it. So what this means is that when there's this many enemy creeps, we got to be like super careful. Like you're like way out of position for me right now. And we just need to make sure that we don't die the same way they died when we were pushing. Okay? So this is way too many enemy creeps. We are very scared. And anything we do here is going to be a bad trade. Please don't trade. Just help your guy hit creeps, honestly. You could just hit the creeps, drag them in the tower, literally anything, but defensive. So yeah, it looks like the opponent didn't like press it too hard, but you were definitely supposed to be very scared there, and you did not play accordingly. This is really important. We call Marcy missing here. I don't know if you did. There's no way to know. Simply put, it's like Marcy was showing this entire time and suddenly she's not. Like, I feel like I've been laning against a Marcy for 6 minutes and then suddenly there's no Marcy. But you might have noticed and you might have said something, I just don't know. So Marcy left, you at least behave accordingly here. So you have two choices when the opponent 4 leaves, okay? And that's to like do exactly what you're doing here, or to just pull. So I'd say the fact that you're doing one or the other means it's fine. As a Baden, I would probably prioritize pulling and then walking over. If your build was like Orb of Venom with boots, I would do this. But since you have this, I would just pull. Yeah, just this build doesn't really tell me that you plan to like run at the offlaner or anything like that. And this is kind of a way that you can know for future reference, basically whether or not this interaction went well for you. Because just remember when like the CM showed up, right? But before that, the CK was alone and you ran at him. And part of like running at him when he's alone is also considering like if you run at a guy who's alone, it's very likely the opponent's going to respond. It's not like 100%, but it's very likely. So you have to be like overwhelmingly a threat to make the whole running at him play a good one, right? So even though I say to not be results oriented about Dota as much as possible, if you went for a play, feel like you played it reasonably, like you ran at the CK, cast spells, all that kind of stuff, and this is the net result, then you can definitely use that result as a idea of what you should do next time. So your goal is just like, hey, what happened here? You know, was it the hero I was playing with? Was it my items? Was the CK more farmed than we thought he was? You know, like, let's just pull up the net worth. No, so you guys are winning the lane by 1,400, so it's clearly nothing to do with net worth, right? I would say it's just your items. Like, I'm not saying your items are bad. I'm saying your items are not good for doing this. Your item and skill build is not good for doing this. I think shield is better for what you're doing here. Your build is a little all over the place. I feel like you either go 2-2-0 with the intent to play defensively, or you level Curse of Avernus with the intent to play aggressive. So maybe you had the intent to play aggressive and it just didn't work, like you saw here. Like in this lane, I would have just gone 2-2-0, I think. But you play more Baden than I do, so. So your mid rotates, we end up getting a kill, very nice. Get out of XP range, please. Yeah, so you're just, okay, so when you get kills and stuff, you're just really slow to reset and think about what you're supposed to do in the lane. Because every time you've gotten kills, push the lane out, you've actually gone and pulled. It's just always slow. That one was like 4 seconds slow. The other one, you waited to pull this camp instead of pulling this one. You're just slow. So you're doing the right thing. It's just got to be faster. Like the second you get kills, you got to immediately ask yourself what you're going to do. Because, you know, it's just not fast enough. Okay.
This'll come in handy.
It doesn't matter if you know what to do if it isn't in time, right? Okay, we got another kill. Very nice. Okay. Yeah. So your post-death time is, like, incredibly inefficient. It is so bad. I'll just be honest. I'll be blunt with you and say it's fucking garbage. So, like, I try to tell people all the time that when you kill somebody on the enemy team, that's, like, the most important time to be efficient in the game. Because a lot of inefficiencies in Dota are because we're afraid of dying, or, like, the opponent poses some sort of threat, or, like, they're in our way. You know, like, we're trying to farm a camp and they can walk over and slow us down. Anything like that. So every time you kill somebody, you like, you know, in this case, we'll ask ourselves the same question, right? So we got a kill on CK. And so, like, look at our health and mana, right? We're pretty done here. There's absolutely nothing for us to do with Sven. Let him have solo XP. We're not pushing the tower because Sven is not a tower pushing safe laner. So Like, let Sven do his thing. There's 3 heroes dead. So we've got a ward and a sentry. We're a really fast support. There's a bounty rune to be picked up over here. There's a power rune coming out at 10 minutes. Huge. Like, it's really important, if possible, to check power runes. It's nighttime. You can go walk in. Okay, number 1 ward mission of any support player is to just walk mid and plop down a sentry the first time they get a chance. Like, almost everybody places a ward. Maybe they didn't, but almost everybody does. So the opponent actually has 2 wards. Here and here. So basically what I'm trying to say is there is so much you can fucking do in the game. It's either in your lane, which this whole time it's been in your lane, because it's just been a very contested lane. But now it's like, there's 3 enemy heroes dead. It's time to, like, go do things, right? We have to be efficient. But instead you just stand here shopping, right? Spend the 10 seconds dead buying 2 clarities in a ring of regen. And now there's, like, nobody helping at the power rune. There's still a ward. And, like, if you walked mid, placed a sentry, killed a ward, and helped this guy get power rune, you're just a fucking god tier support player. Like, you are literally just a god tier support player. Anything less than that is a failure, right? What I mean by that is, I don't want to say failure. That's harsh. Anything less than that is suboptimal. That is the optimal play. When you are allowed to leave your lane, walk mid, place a sentry, and check rune. Also, don't level your ulti as a Batten. I thought that'd be something the trick you would do when you're master tier a Batten. Don't level your ulti. Let somebody, like, there's just times where you would drop to 300 HP that you wouldn't want to have your ult go off. So don't do this. Like, hold the skill point. Level it when you're about to die if you think that's the case. Like, say you're at 200 HP and sniper's assassinating you, you know? Then you level it and it goes off. But yeah, never just level a bad ulti like this. Same thing, it's like the similar idea to Wraith King ult. Yeah, there's just, like, so much wrong with your vision of the game. So I'm trying to think about how I can get you on the right track. So basically what I see, right, is that, I guess explaining myself is best. So we killed 3 heroes. Like, 3 heroes on the enemy team are dead. We can do literally anything we fucking want. There are 3 heroes dead. The only hero that's missing that could possibly interfere with you is a Crystal Maiden, okay? Like a level, what, 4 Crystal Maiden? Yeah, level 4 Crystal Maiden. That's the only hero that can stop you from doing whatever you want on the map. So you could literally run up this fucking hill and, like, de-ward this area. You could run over here and de-ward 2 wards mid, and you would not get contested, right? That itself is very important to acknowledge. Like, that is insanely important. So I'm like looking at this as, like, 3 heroes are dead right now. We're up 9-1. I don't know exactly what the net worth lead is while I'm in the game, but, like, we're winning, right? We're winning. I can do whatever the fuck I want. That's what I'm thinking, right? And so then I see you walk defensively through your own jungle and place a defensive ward. The thing is I don't need your warding game to be, like, on point, but I need it to, like, kind of make sense. Like, when you're up 9-1, are you really concerned about protecting your own jungle, right? Are you concerned about the team that's losing 1-9 with a mid sniper, a guy that sits under his tower? Are you concerned with them invading this area? You know? So, I need you to think about this. What are the odds that an enemy hero runs up here? Like, at any point. I mean, I'm curious. I'm going to fast forward on this ward and see what it sees. Okay. Nothing better than just a straight up example. So, I don't need it to be, I don't need your warding, like I said, to be, like, perfectly on point. But, like, I need you to now hear my narration of, like, this is what's going on in the game. This is how I feel. This is how the wards need to be. Like, the simple idea of, like, we're ahead, place wards on their side of the map is good enough as, like, a starting point, right? You want your wards to be places that you or your enemy team is going to go a lot, right? That just makes sense. And I don't know, I knew watching this game with the way it was playing out, you guys are ahead 9-1, that literally nobody was going to walk through here. And it just turns out that I don't think anybody on either team for 6 minutes walked in this area, right? So it's like a perfectly, exaggerated example, but this is the kind of stuff we need to see. So then when you're leaving lanes, I need you to have wards and sentries on you. Anytime you go to the opponent's safe lane, it's almost always ideal to place a sentry around here. You just don't want this rotation to be scouted. It's very low probability of being good if they can see you. Fortunately, they don't have a ward, but you want to be able to check if they do. So same idea here. You get a kill on Jug, and you run backwards with ultimate available. Take like 10 seconds to shop, and then you go back to doing what you're doing. It's your biggest issue. When you kill people, you are literally 0.5 out of 10 efficient. It's really bad. Okay. So what I need you to do in these times is like, so right now you literally always stand still on your hero to shop. It's funny because this is why I made fundamentals guides on like shopping, So what you need to do as a support is before you shop, I need you to like look at the map and think of where you would go. So say it was like 12 or 11:30 right now, or like 11:40, and you have Sven Bristle. You're going to want to stack some camps. Like, that's something you would want to do with these heroes on your team. So, 11:40, you'd, like, walk yourself to right here. Like, you would literally just right-click here and then shop while your hero's walking over there, right? In this case, since it's 12:08, there's a power rune. Something's probably going on around mid. I see, generally speaking, 2 heroes on opposite teams near each other. So I'm just going to walk there. Like, there's no lane here. I'm not going to jungle because I'm a Baden. There's no camps to stack. So this is like the obvious point on the map to me that you would want to walk towards. So like, I would take my hero. I would right-click like right here. And on my time, my hero's walking like this. I would buy items. It's a huge difference between what you're doing in this. So you're not like assessing what you're doing next before you shop. You're basically like, I got to kill, shop, now what? No. I gotta kill, what's next, on my way there, shop. Big difference. Big difference. Yeah, so you guys are up 11-2. Super strong. Your Kunkka's contested mid. You guys could honestly do whatever the fuck you want. And in the time that you kill this Crystal Maiden, you do a nice defensive lap around your own jungle and triangle here. I just need you to see this. Like, your aggression levels could be so high. And you're just, this is like, what is this? What are you doing? Right? Like, think about it. It's straight up, like, I can't possibly fathom what's going through your head. I don't know, because, I'm not going to try. I actually just don't know. Your gauge of how strong you guys are is not there. So, what I'm saying is, to be less insulting and more productive, is that I have felt like you guys are super strong all game, and I don't think that thought has gone through your head a single time. So now I need you in your games at all times to kind of establish like how you feel about the game. Are we winning? Is this game really fucking hard? Like, is the opponent running at us nonstop? Is the opponent just farming and they're gonna win? What's happening in this game? That's what I like. That's what I need you to be able to tell yourself. Like, what's happening? And the thing is, Dota is all about, there's some theoretically optimal play, and the closer you are to it, the better, right? So a lot of people, the guy in chat said this game is very impenetrable, It's like, if you're up 12-2, and you guys can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, that's the reality, right? That's what, like, a super high MMR player would understand. I would need you to be, like, on their side of the map, or, like, doing something involving being near a teammate who's strong, or pushing a tower, or, like, messing with the enemy carry. You know, something. Just, like, anything that implies you think you're kind of strong. So, like, it just can't be this, you know? It can't be this defensive lap. It can't be placing a ward here. Like, this is, like, if you guys are, like, 10 out of 10 strong right now, these are, like, 1 out of 10 strength moves. Like, these are, like, I'm scared as fuck moves. I don't know what to do. I'm defensive moves. And that's, like, if you're supposed to play, like, a 10, I need it to at least be, like, a 6, you know, to work with you. I need to at least have it be, like, a 6. If it's a 1, then I just gotta tell you, like, dude, you guys are winning by a shit ton and you're playing like a pussy. Like, that's all I can tell you. Right? That's like all I can really say. Okay. So yeah, like, this is what we're supposed to do. Fantastic. Take the enemy ancients. Retreat. Oh, we're smoking a... Nah, you gotta get mid tower. This smoke doesn't work if mid tower's there. Notice how you, like, walk through a tower and just got broke on the tower. Yeah, you can't do that smoke without it. That smoke only works with mid tower gone or nighttime. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Yeah. So the issue is that you guys ignored mid lane. So, like, when I rewind to here, you guys haven't taken mid tower yet. You're in their ancients, and you see them bottom. So I think you smoke to go help your bristle, but it's a jug. Pretty hard hero to gank. You're walking right through a tower. If you see this, just kill the mid tower, you know? Don't get fancy. Don't just ignore an objective. You have Jakiro. Abaddon's even decent at, like, hitting towers. You literally have all the wards you could ever need to kill this tower. So you're literally just let's stop using the word literally. You are just like skipping an obvious objective and trying to do more. This is a simple stick to the fundamentals objective right in front of you. No enemy hero stopping you. Really important objective, mid tier 1 tower. Just take it, right? Instead, we're, like, doing this random ass shit, running through enemy vision and trying to gank a guy, hoping he has map awareness of a potato. And now, like, we kind of just forgot about mid lane. So what happens here is whenever you guys group in a lane, you need to concern yourself with, like, the lane that you guys left behind. So basically, you guys leave behind mid lane, and even though you're up by 7k gold, your Kunkka's gonna die by himself, and then Sniper's gonna kill your mid tower. Like, what's going on in the mid lane here is a travesty. This is a joke. The fact that your mid laner just died by himself, and you guys lost mid tower when you're up by 6k, is a fucking slight on humanity. That is a fucking joke. Absolute fucking joke. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is insane to me. Okay. So we're gonna wrap up this replay here. And I'm gonna say this. Because I've been analyzing this game like crazy. You need to understand the power of plopping sentries down in the mid lane. Your goal for the next, like, 10 games is... And, like, going forward, that is a goal too, but, like, your sole focus is when I leave my lane, fucking walking here, sentrying, and killing all enemy vision in this area. I want your middle of this area to look like a fucking Christmas tree, while I want them to feel like, you know, they're in some fucking horror video game, and every time they walk out, they might die. Okay, that's what I need for this area to feel like. If this area is not under your vision control... When you're up by 6,000 gold, then, man, you are not doing a good job supporting. That is, like, your sole fucking job if you guys are winning in the mid game. Like, in the mid game, the winning team controls mid lane, okay? Let's, like, break it down simply. Winning team controls 2 out of 3 lanes. It's usually difficult to control the 2 side lanes because they're really far apart. So usually one of those 2 lanes is mid lane. So if you're winning, you should pretty much always control mid lane. Even if you're losing, it should be like a battle back and forth to control mid lane. You know, you should be centering theirs, then they center yours. And the thing is, in your bracket, I would think the opponent wouldn't even try to stop you. But the thing is, they actually have mid lane warded this entire game. Like, I've actually seen it, like, multiple times. So I need you to start prioritizing the right things. So what you do after kills and prioritizing vision in the mid lane are your two biggest problems by a large margin. Don't just AFK after kills. Think about what you're going to do next, then shop, and make sure you prioritize warding mid lane because you had a lot of opportunities and you just didn't. Okay. Easy. Okay. Hey, chat. Oh, Henry rated me. Welcome, Henry viewers. Dota's the same all across every level, Thriving Gamer. Just some people I can't even help. It's like, oh, why'd I get the same fucking game? I never copy-pasted a new... Wait, did I? I thought I copy-pasted this. Maybe I'm high. Thoughts on Henry? No thoughts. Hey, Thriving Gamer, thanks for telling people about my schedule, man. Leas93, thanks for the 8 months. Mayor Bear, thanks for the sub. Azah, thanks for the sub. Hi, I just seen Guardians. You had patience to deal with them. What are you treating them like they're fucking mental patients or something? I had the patience to deal with these fucking shitters. It's because we're all learning concepts, right? Not specific things. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, is that to learn concepts through specific examples rather than like learning like this is what you were supposed to do right here, right? Like obviously I do try to include that a bit more, but I used to just like not tell people what they were supposed to do in that given scenario because I thought it detracted, but I like to now tell the point, like say this is what I was thinking and then this is what you were supposed to do because of that. Okay, so that's how I've kind of approached it now. How do you identify the weak parts of your game? A lot of it has to do with like what parts of the game I think I'm struggling with. Like, for instance, if I like, this is a very simple example, but it was happening to me maybe a month or two ago. I was winning most of my lanes, and I was not winning as many games as I was lanes. Like my lane success was better than my win rate. So obviously something past the laning phase is causing me to lose. So I was like, like, okay, we're continuing. So what I did was I'd like look at the graphs, you know, like I'd go to the graphs and I would see, say I was dire, I would see a lot of this and then like this. And I was like, I guess my mid to late game decision making isn't very good. And then, you know, I'd be thinking about like how I'm approaching team fights and having that be the important emphasis of what I'm doing. Probably too advanced for what he needs. No, I don't think that's too advanced. I think if you ask anybody of any MMR, you can ask them like, how are your lanes going in general? Are you guys winning your lanes? Are you losing late game fights? Are you losing mid game? Like they usually know. but I use the graph. It's a very simple, tangible thing. And it's not like you learn from one graph, you know? You establish a hypothesis based on how you feel. It's like, oh, I'm losing most of my lanes. And then you look at these graphs, and most of the time at 10 minutes, it favors the other team. It's like, okay, well, obviously, you know, if across 50 games, I'm losing 70% of my laning stages, I'm probably a big part of that. Okay. Duckler, thanks for the 5. The thing is that if you're 1200 MMR, you probably just need to work on mechanics. But the thing is, surprisingly, more and more I watch these games, people's mechanics aren't, like, they're not clueless. They're not like garbage. They're just missing some crucial things. And it's like crucial enough that they'd be stuck at 1K. I just don't know what role you play. I obviously don't know what you're doing. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Got ourselves a 3300 MMR Legion Commander offlane. Hey, man, I tried my best to apply the concept you told me, pulling the creep. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. I don't know why, but sometimes I try to pull and it just fails. Okay, we'll look at that at 305. Remind me at 305. I was also wondering if this is something I should do in every lane I play. Pretty much every lane, your goal is to get it right here. That is your goal. So since you're 3300, I'll treat you with a little bit more, you know, respect here and say you're supposed to get the lane right fucking here. Most of the time, it is done by what we talked about, but that is pretty much your goal every single lane. The situation is you get the lane here, you keep it here until like level 5 or 6. That's usually when most offlaners hit their power spike. Once you hit your power spike, you look to potentially push the lane in, you know, and dive them / be aggressive. But until you hit your power spike, you're just out trading them, out farming them with the lane sitting like right here, right? The whole idea is that while you haven't quite hit your power spike, you're slowly but surely getting more gold, more XP, taking better trades, and then once you hit your power spike, you hit it fucking hard, right? That's the idea. Anyways, since I am now more aware of this, I'm no longer 1.5k behind at 10 minutes every game. Nice. See, that goes with something you were asking in chat. Anyways, I'd appreciate if you paid attention to my mouse movements and point out why the pulls fail when they do. Sure. Hopefully this time around we'll get past the first 2 minutes of the replay. Sure. Sorry, man, you have to earn it. I feel like I could have defended towers a little bit better, but we were a bit ahead, so I opted to stick with the team and try to bring the fight to them instead of pushing a side lane. Also, something I noticed during my replays, sometimes I get so obsessed trying to deny a creep from the enemy carry that I miss a few easy last hits. Do you have any advice or when... P.S. I'm like 1k MMR higher than the last replay. That is mostly due to some luck with the double downs. Okay, I see. When it comes to tunnel visioning, it's more just awareness that you're doing it, like tunnel visioning on denies. Like the second you think, so say you want to deny a creep, you're thinking like, I'm going to deny this creep. Your goal should be also like what other creeps are low. Like do a quick scan of the area right after you acknowledge that. You're like, I want to deny this creep. Quick scan of the area for anything else that I could possibly want to do, right? But if you don't do that quick scan, then you're going to naturally get caught up thinking about denying that one creep and then randomly miss out on kill opportunities or harass opportunities or CSing. Yeah, I mean, you're just tunnel visioning is what it sounds like. Okay. So if you're Legion and you level your Q, you should always get this creep. That's just very strange that you're Platinum tier Legion and this range creep goes unnuked when you have your Q. Against Disruptor, I would strongly consider taking Press the Attack. So here's how I look at Legion. This ability helps me trade with the carry, if that's what I think is going to happen in lane, but you don't necessarily want to trade with Anti-Mage when you're full mana level 1, because he burns all your mana and you take extra damage. So this ability is to deal with Disruptor's Q, and this ability is to nuke a range creep. So I would say this lane, this doesn't make any sense. This lane, this actually kind of makes sense, has a specific purpose defensively, and then this ability is for range creeps. So yeah, just have, if you level the skill that nukes range creeps, then you have to nuke them. So you need to keep this lane in a situation where this range creep is outside a tower. So the lane needs to be right here, and then the second that the lane meets, and this range creep's outside a tower, you then drag off of the anti-mage to pull the lane into your range creep without it being pulled into tower, and then you just freely deny this range creep. So you've not quite earned how to get out of the first 2 minutes because you didn't nuke a fucking range creep and then you didn't drag to your range. Do those two things and you're officially out of the first 2 minutes without being trash. Very good. Another range creep missed. Very weird champ. Full mana Legion Commander. 1200 range nuke to get range creeps. Very weird champ. So generally against anti-mage, I try to use all of my mana early game and then trade with them. So I want you to think about, this was actually a lesson I learned maybe like 2 years ago, right? And the lesson I learned was that I was against MSS. I'll never forget this. This was back when MSS played offlane. And he was playing, I believe, Slardar or something like that. It was actually Nyx. It was actually Nyx offlane. Back then, Nyx offlane was a thing. And on the first 2 creep waves as Nyx, he stunned me as anti-mage like 4 times. And a lot of the stuns were like seemingly pretty random. Like he would stun me, hit me twice, and walk away, and he's like a Nyx. It like didn't even do much damage. And then like when it came to like wave 3 or 4, and I tried to harass him, he just had no mana. And I was like, huh. Basically, anti-mage against somebody with no mana does no damage, right? So a lot of times you don't trade with anti-mage because you have mana and you want to cast your spells. So the simple secret is to cast all of your spells as reasonably as possible, like nuking the anti-mage and nuking range creeps and all that kind of stuff, and then just run yourself out of mana and then trade with them, right? So what I would usually do in a lane like this is, since I'm against Disruptor, pretty high harass, but I also want to trade with anti-mage, I'm probably going double Bracer before I go Soul Ring, because that's going to give me extra HP regen to work with. It also makes me do more damage to anti-mage when I'm trading with him. So I'm literally going to nuke off cooldown pretty much to get myself out of mana. Go for double Bracer, trade with the anti-mage, and then at that point I'm going to be all the time. And then I'm only leaving this at 1 point because it's not that great against anti-mage, and I'm going to run out of mana. So then I'm going to max this. It's going to be like it's probably going to be like 1-1-2 because I'm trading with anti-mage, and then like 1-4-2 would be my exact skill build with the intent to bully anti-mage out of lane. And the reason I max this is because I'm going to buy a Soul Ring after the 2 Bracers because he's running me out of mana, and my intent is to Soul Ring plus press the attack. So I want to sustain in lane. So that's my entire plan for the lane. You know, you said you gained a lot of MMR from double downs and stuff. Yeah, you just don't look like you have the lane. You don't look like you have the lane plan of a 3K. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't look like you have a plan. You're like never nuking. You're not harassing. It's just weird. I feel like your laning stage is still severely lacking. Okay. Another range creep down the drain. Dude, this is fucking pathetic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Legion Commander not securing range creeps. I'm like trying to... Like, is there an offlaner that should get every range creep more than Legion? Chat, help me out. Mirana, Mars, Underlord. No, Underlord doesn't have a nuke. Doom. Okay, Doom. Fine, Doom. Fine, Doom. You're right, Doom. But Doom has a 60-second cooldown ability, so no. Doom's wrong. Because that's you can't use that every creep wave. Okay, same thing here. Please keep it so your range creeps outside a tower, so you hold the lane right here and then drag to your range. Just fundamental stuff you're doing incorrectly. You're not actually reaping the benefits of what you're doing. You should just be freely denying this range creep outside of XP range for this anti-mage, like all the way back here. It's literally a double range creep deny, right? Because he's getting 0 XP rather than half. So you're dragging the lane back and then failing to make use of it.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
So yeah, I can tell you exactly what happened here. So you're gonna try to aggro right.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
So you pulled creep aggro right here, right? That's what happened. You pulled it, and then like they didn't chase you very long because they were busy attacking. So then you're gonna try to pull again, but it was too early for these two creeps. Actually, no, I think those two creeps weren't in range. Let me see.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
When did you issue the?
A gift from the tempest of battle.
Okay. I'm sorry. So you pulled aggro. This stuff is just specific. I hate replays right now. So you pulled aggro at 302. That was when you pulled the aggro. They didn't chase you very far because you were still within melee range of them. So they should aggro you again, but looks like they weren't quite in range. The other two melee creeps. Okay, so here's what happened. You tried to pull them at 305, and they weren't quite in range. So that means there's a 3-second cooldown. These creeps won't aggro you again for 3 seconds. So then you tried to pull again, but it wasn't 3 seconds yet. And now that's probably like 0.2 seconds early. And then they aggroed you there at 310, which is what you wanted. So you missed your aggro attempt here. Then these are too fast. These two aggro attempts are too early. It hasn't been 3 seconds yet. And then you're going to pull it again at 310, I think. Yeah, so they should get pulled now. Yep, there they go. You're in range of only one of them, not the other, but you did pull it. Yeah, so you just need to... you need to create a lobby. We'll put, like, same situation you're in. Make sure you have cheats on. You know, we can practice it with whatever hero you want to play. So just type these commands: start game, teleport, create hero, axe, enemy. I mean, it could be anything, but I just always do axe. For the sake of simplicity, I just type on all vision, so I don't have to worry about where this axe is. I can just use them as aggro. So, like, what you should do you should just load up this replay, right? This is exactly what you should practice. Because the fact that this is something you're not pulling off is, like, really bad, right? So, we should do this. This is your first 2 minutes in a nutshell. We're going to get a feel. Oh, so you should open up your console, Dota_range display 500. You cannot do this in regular Dota, but you can do this in practice lobbies with cheats on. So what that's going to do is give you a sense of how far your aggro range is. That's what your aggro range is, this nice little circle around you. So what I'm basically trying to tell you is you don't have good muscle memory or a feel for what this range is and what the cooldown is. So there's 3-second cooldown on aggro and 500 range. I have a video on aggro if you want to know, like, way in-depth details. It's on my fundamentals guides. So you're going to learn that 500 range. Oops, I've selected axe. So you're going to pull to your range, right? So we're going to pull to our range again. So, like, I have a good feel for how long 3 seconds is, right? For many reasons, Kappa. So we're going to get this range creep denied off, and then we're going to drag again. I've kind of fucked up explaining here, but, sorry. Okay, I'm going to stop explaining. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do, okay? Let me just restart this and show you exactly what you need to do without explaining it, because I'm going to fuck it up while I'm explaining it. This is exactly what you need to do, okay? You load up a fucking game.
All pick. Your options are vast.
Surprisingly hard to play Dota when you're telling people what you're doing.
Legion Commander. If they want war,
just copy me fucking verbatim, okay?
Prepare for battle.
Even though verbatim means what I'm saying. This is what your first wave should look like. 3-second cooldown, 500 range. Get the hang of this 500 range. And now I'm done talking. This is what it should look like.
On it. Immediately. Stand down. Easily.
And then you do this. You know, obviously, like, there's an opponent hero there.
They will burn. Take the field. Yes. Yes.
And this is just what you're practicing.
Overwhelming odds.
And then you sit it right outside of your tower, like right about here.
Aye. Without a doubt.
And this is what it should look like. And then it's in front of your tower and jerking off for the rest of the lane. Okay? And you just keep repeating this process. That is what it should look like. When you're dragging to your range, when you're away from the axe or anti-mage, you should right-click them and then push stop and then reselect your hero. Or like recenter the camera on your hero. And all that does is, so you put yourself next to the range creep, you right-click the opponent, immediately push stop so your hero stays where it is, and then the creeps will chase you to the range, okay? That's the process in which you practice it. But basically, the reason why you're messing up at 305 is because you don't have a good feel for 3 seconds, and then you don't have a good feel for the 500 range. So you keep barely missing these creeps. You're probably like 515 range from these creeps. Same thing here. Keep it outside of tower so you can drag to your range. See, like what you did there where you nuked the entire wave so the 2 range creeps are in deny range. That's not good. So what I do here is I would only use my nuke if he was being aggressive on me, such that, like right here, I would nuke him and then hit him. But by just nuking him, you're allowing him to turn around and just deny creeps, which is not good. I'd say Legion against Anti-Mage, it's reasonable he denies maybe 1, maybe 2 range creeps the entire lane. He's denied, like, I think all but 1 or 2. I would never be CSing like this. I would always drag these creeps away from him under tower. So I use my nuke like this to get a creep. I would immediately aggro here defensively. I don't want to be under his tower without my nuke, without my soul ring. Like, I don't want to be here. So I would aggro defensively. So yeah, if you get the aggro stuff down, properly pull to your range creep, you'll make use of what you're doing. And then if you pull to your range creep and get it denied back here, and you also nuke their range creep, you're winning this lane really fucking hard. But because you're not doing that, he's getting most of the range creeps and you're getting none of them, and then the lane's like really bad. Like he's probably like half a level ahead of you. He's a full level ahead of you. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just really bad. You're not doing the simple things, like making sure you nuke range creeps and making sure you deny your own range creeps with the drag. When I say it's simple, it's that maybe it's not simple to remember to do them, but it's like once you do them, you'll just do them every game. Same thing here. Please drag to your range, but have it outside of tower. That alone is worth like 300 MMR in your laning phase. That's a lot of MMR worth. You're just not denying range creeps.
It shall not be.
So you win 3 points counterattack. I probably would have gone 2, like I said. Not a big deal, though. I mean, it's like a big deal in the sense that, like, you're not really thinking about how you're compensating the Soul Ring's loss of health with this.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Also, the way you win trades with Anti-Mage is by using this whenever he trades with you. So, like, yes, this is a part of it, but you have to use this every time it trades. It's also the only use of your Soul Ring, so you're going to be using this spell a lot. So you Soul Ring and W yourself here. The W is meant for Disruptor. You pick Legion and Disruptor so that when he uses his Q, you can remove it. It's a very good matchup in lane for Legion. Like, you just Soul Ring W right now.
Radiant's top tower is in danger.
Yeah. I will tell you, man. I like to see the progress. I see that you're trying to use the aggro, but your laning stage is atrocious. Still. All the things I've told you needs to be the focus of what you need to work on. I would play Legion a bunch of times in a row. The fact that you're Platinum tier Legion tells me these are just systematic issues with you. It's not like you're just new to Legion, right? So what are your skills used for? Range creeps, trading, all that kind of stuff. You know, getting these fundamental things down, because Legion Anti-Mage is like, okay, Legion against Anti-Mage Disruptor. You are heavily favored in this lane. Legion is good against Anti-Mage, and she's also very good against Disruptor. So you are heavily favored in this lane, and you lost it. So it's definitely indicative of your laning prowess, or lack thereof. Okay. Oh, okay. A little bit of a barn-burning brawl down there. Okay. Just give me a second, sorry. Okay. I don't know each one of your guys' history, okay? So I'm just going to go on a little rant, and this isn't directed at General Gallo, okay? This is for everybody. You offlane players are fucking boomers, okay? It's fucking 2022. What was offlane back in the day? Back in my day! I would go fucking brown boots, blink dagger, and I'd be a fucking cuck for the rest of the game. I'd be a blink stunner for the rest of the game. That's what I was as an offlaner. Back in my day! That's what I did, okay? But nowadays, I made a video on this. Let me actually find it. Is it like YouTube? Well, it is YouTube. BSJ offlane guide. Is that it? No. Man. What was that, like, Giga Chat offlane thing? Was it this? I want you... There's the plan there. It's gold now. Your items in terms of you learning. I want you, moving forward in this game, as best you can, be thinking, is this part of the map or this fight good for me? Okay. I don't know where this video is, and if I can't find it, then I have no way of expecting you guys to find it. So, time to take notes. Time to take notes. Give me a second here. 6, 7, 7, 9, 6, 0, 6, 8, 9, 7. It was a Mars replay. Okay. So, secure range on the way out. Okay. I don't know exactly how I'll make a video on this. Maybe I won't make a video. I'm not sure. But this is a public service announcement for you, my friend General Gallo. Is I tell carry players. I've had a lot of carry players that, like, they're playing Luna, they're playing some jungler, and it's like 7 minutes. They buy treads and like a Mask of Madness, and they are never to be seen here again. You know? They go farm over here, and then they go farm Ancients. The opponent's, like, not even being aggressive on them. They just, like, give up control of their lane. They just, like, go farm, and they just, like, never come back, right? So as an offlaner, if I tell you that the carry's sole goal in Dota in 2022, if possible, is to occupy their safe lane for all of eternity. Like, that is their goal, right? Their goal is to just sit there, jerking it. And it's even better because of the flag creeps. It's even better to do that now. Because they get an extra 35 gold or whatever, 40 gold every minute. That's pretty cool. They get rewarded for wanting to stay in their lane. So if I tell you that every carry's purpose is to jerk off in the safe lane until 15 minutes, what does that say to you? You know? Like, what as an offlaner does that mean to you? Right? Like, that's their goal. Isn't your goal to ruin their lives? Isn't that your goal as an offlaner? That should be your goal, right? To ruin their lives. So no, we're not back in fucking 2018 right now, okay? We are not in 2018. I don't even know why I said 2018, but we are in a current age of Dota where you are not a fucking blink dagger rushing offlaner. You're not a little pussy ass bitch blink dagger offlaning, rushing offlaner, okay? Your goal is to boot this fucking carry out of his lane. That is your sole goal. And if you've told me, BSJ, I have tried everything to get this guy out of his lane, and it just didn't work, then that's fine. Okay? Then that's totally fine. But you gave up on this lane like just instantly. It's gone. You're done. I want to see double fucking bracer, soul ring, and a blade mail. And I want you running at this guy. You don't need to gank him. You don't need to kill him. He needs to not be allowed to walk up in the lane. If he walks up in the lane, you give him a little love tap 3 times. And next time he does it, you love tap him again. You make them 4-man gank you to get you out of his face. Like what you just had happen there where they like 3-on-3 bottom, you know? You're going to go right back to what you were doing. You're going to go right back to controlling bottom lane. This is a good matchup for you. Like the only time where you don't do this is when you lost your lane horrendously and or you're in a really bad matchup. Like, you have thought to yourself, if I were to run at this carry, I would literally just feed. I would just die, like, for free. Like, meaning, like, it's not even like I'm being annoying. The guy would just kill me, you know? That's when you give up. That's when you fucking give up. What I see here is giving up. No wand, no bracers, no blade mail. I'm just fucking leaving, right? The 2 builds on Legion that make any sense are like double bracer Falcon against certain heroes, or like blade mail or armlet. Those are like the 2 items that make sense. Because you're a fucking Giga Chat offlaner whose goal is to boot the opponent carry out of lane. Your goal for the first 15 minutes is that this area doesn't have a carry in it. That is your goal. There's no carry here anymore. This tower ideally is dead, and there's no fucking carry here. And you've done your job. Anything else doesn't fucking matter. It literally doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna lose 2 or 3 times as many fucking games if this guy is here farming and you're fucking mid. You're literally level 8.5. Okay, fine. You ganked the Huskar. Now, with your double bracer, components of a blade mail, run at the anti-mage immediately. Like, no fucking hesitation. 0-second downtime. Leave the mid lane to this 100 HP silencer. This guy gets 0 breathing room. This guy gets your fucking sword rammed up his ass for the entire fucking laning stage. Everything. When I say laning stage, I'm saying as long as that guy plans to be bottom, you're doing it. Okay? Like he can have his laning stage be as long as he wants it to be. You fucking boot him out of here. You make them 4-man gank you non-stop. Non-fucking stop until they fucking get pummeled into submission, okay? Seriously. Like, I need it to look like you want this. I need you to look like, hey man, this anti-mage is gonna have to use everything in his power to get me out of here. Okay? And the thing is that reflects in your item build entirely. So, as I tell carry players, you go for a farming acceleration item, then a survivability item. That's like the formula for carries. As offlaners, you go for early lane dominance items like bracers. Then you go for territorial control item, such as blade mail or armlet on Legion. Then, once you've controlled your territory, taken the tower, farmed until about 14, 15 minutes, then you buy the blink dagger, right? Then you buy the go kill them item, okay? You don't just run around looking to gank people, giving up your lane at 11 minutes. That's just not the way. It's just not the way, my friend. It's not back in your day anymore. Oh my god, you're a level and a half ahead of this anti-mage. You're in a good matchup, and he's fucking killing your tower, bro. Ugh! How is your tower fucking dead, dude? I'm actually just fucking losing it. Need to go get an apple. My blood sugar is low or some shit. Okay. So, last time in your replay, we made it to 2 minutes. This time, we made it to 12. In lane, if we can get you dragging properly and then denying your range, you're going to have a much better laning phase on average. In this lane, you were actually favored anyways, so even though you completely botched the first, 4 minutes of the lane, you still came out on top and were in control. Like, you were a level and a half ahead of this anti-mage. So then your next goal is to fucking pile drive this guy into submission. And buy however many items it takes to drive him out of his lane. I want you fucking in this lane saying, I dare you to fucking walk up anti-mage. I fucking dare you. I fucking dare you, bro. And once I've, sufficiently booted you out of lane, I'm going to take your tower. And then you're going to try to come back to here, and you're not going to be able to. Because I'm going to boot you right back out, bitch. That's what you're going to be doing, okay? And so that period of time lasts until you get your blink, right? You're just blade mail, and then you sit bottom, jacking off until you get blink. And the thing is, you may say, BSJ, aren't I AFK or whatever? Dota's all about territory control. If you're just fucking farming both of these camps, keeping anti-mage from going to this wave without getting fucked with for 5 minutes, you are farming so much, anti-mage is farming so little. And then when you get a blink, the game's just over. The map is just gone. This guy wants to farm, and he just has nowhere to go. Because you took his farm for the first 15 minutes, and then you fucking ganked him for the rest of the game. His game's fucking over. So this vision of the game needs to be what's prioritized for you. First 3 minutes we talked about. Then what it takes to pile drive this guy out of his lane. This, not a thing. This is when your lane sucked. This is when your lane matchup was bad and you just couldn't think of anything to salvage. I think in the short term, you need to buy as many items as you possibly can to win your lane. Just drive this guy out. Because, I need you to know from BSJ's approval that if these are the items you bought and you felt like you couldn't lane anymore, I need you to buy more items. I need you to buy 2 bracers, a full wand, a component of your blade mail. And if it didn't work, maybe it wasn't a game where you were supposed to do it. These are ideals, right? These are idealistic scenarios where you're winning, you're favored, and you're supposed to drive that guy out of lane, right? So you're in a good matchup this game. So I'm harping on you because it's a good matchup. You're supposed to do it. You should prioritize it in a good matchup. But I feel like even in a good matchup, if you're not doing it, then on matchups that are kind of closed, you're not going to try, right? So I need you to all in on booting the enemy carry out of lane, and if it fails, ask yourself why it failed, okay? And then, like, try to recognize that as an exception rather than, like, what you're accepting. It's like, as the second that I think I can no longer win this lane with every ounce of power that I have, that is when I will succumb to, like, blink daggers and stuff. I'll be like, okay, fine. I accept. I will not win this lane, right? But until that moment, I need every one of these items to be about controlling this area, booting this guy out, taking this tower before this tower dies. That's your entire purpose. So, yeah, man. Sorry. Okay. Next game. Oh, it was this game. Okay. Cool. Thank you for sending me that message. This is the replay that we were talking about. I'm gonna change that title. Damage, and you're gonna take damage. Okay. Map. I think your map movements have. Come on. I think that you can start later. Think about it, but like I see that you were trying it and it was really close. No, this isn't the replay I was talking about. It's fine. It's like a fine replay, but it's not what I was talking about. Piago, thanks for the sub. Oh, sorry guys. I always forget to turn my webcam back down. Would the 0 mana tactic work with Bristleback against Anti-Mage as well? It's not as ideal, because you can't just buy Soul Ring and then use one spell and be out of mana again. But if I'm against Anti-Mage as Bristle, I would definitely run myself as soon as possible. With mangoes, though. I'd probably have like 6 mangoes in that lane. But yeah. I would definitely spam Quills off CD. Making sure that I hit him with every single one. Okay, I'm pretty sure that I copy-pasted the new replay ID. But we're having some serious issues, boys. Z-Lark, that's a lot to do with what hero you're playing. If I'm playing a hero like Legion, I would only do it if the opponent overextended. To counter gank. Otherwise, I would stay in my area. It also depends on what carrier we're dealing with. So, like Anti-Mage, for instance, I would prioritize highly shutting him down. So, I guess my answer is it really depends. Ideally, I'd rather not TP to my safe lane. But if I'm a ganking hero and the opponent's overextending, I will. That's like the... TLDR. Did you design the top right-hand corner thing? Any assets on my stream, I did not design. I just asked for them. I don't do any artistic work or any overlay work or anything. So yeah, somebody at Liquid helped me out there. I'm sorry, coach, won't happen again. We can only see your forehead. Okay, seriously, guys, if you're gonna type this, right, can only see your forehead. Like, what kind of amateur Twitch chatters do I have? It has to be this, right? Like, Guys. Amateurs. Fucking amateurs. Okay. Largely playing outside of the lane. Wait. How does forward not screw that up, but also stop the opponent one from correctly arguing? Just generally speaking, if you have more creeps than they do, you can use that to your advantage. So if the position 1 drag creeps, your 3 drags creeps, then it's your job to like force the 1 into tower, right? But honestly, if the lane's played equally correctly by both teams, you can't do that because the 5 would help bully you away from the 1. So your goal would be to try to force him into tower if you think you can, to make it so that he ruins his own lane equilibrium. But if you can't, then you can't. But the thing is, if you're looking to do that and you think like the only thing that's going to stop me is the enemy 5 and the 5's not in the correct spot, then you'll be able to do it, right? Where are you? I am in EU. I'm pretty much in EU unless I say otherwise in the title or something. Okay, got another replay. My default location right now is EU. We got ourselves a 2900 MMR Ursa replay. Hi, I'm a semi-new Dota 2 player. Started in May 2022, but had played League of Legends for 10 years. Okay, so makes sense. So I'm expecting good mechanics, bad conceptual knowledge. First replay review I'm sending in. This game I picked Ursa second round into a first round Pudge pick. Makes sense. Felt we dominated the lane and was able to do anything I wanted. Felt the timing for Battle Fury was too good not to pick up. One thing I'm wondering is if there's anything I can do early 7 to 12 minutes into the game when we are crushing the lane so hard other than farm the small camp and hard camp. If you go Battle Fury, unlikely, but we'll see. I was far ahead in the early and mid game, was trying to get my blink timing before fighting the Fed SF. Realized a bit too late, but bought Lincolns eventually, even though I realized it should have probably been an earlier buy. Very rarely do I buy Lincolns on Ursa. But what could I do better in the mid game to close the game out earlier, as it went to be on an hour-long slugfest? Didn't feel really at any point we could lose the game, even though there might have been a few close moments. Also, I tried to get my team to play topside. But better to be with the team if a fight does break out. Okay, check it out, dude.
This contest is in.
So I wouldn't pre-skill. I would hold this point for potentially getting away from a gank or securing range creep. Just don't get in the habit of pre-skilling. You should skill right about now every single game. It's just a really bad habit. There's games where you might want the other skill, and it's like probably like less than 20%, but that's all Dota is, right? It's like understanding that you're adjusting to situations. Okay, so lane's pushing. The second Dawnbreaker fucked up that lane, that aggro, like right here. The lane was pushing, and you should be aware of this. Like the second he did this, the lane's now pushing because the enemy range group's dying. So we have two options. One is to push this lane really, really hard, such that these 3 creeps run into the next creep wave before these creeps get here. That's going to allow us to then like effectively keep the lane where we want it, or to like immediately start denying and dragging aggro to our range. But the lane starts pushing right there, and you just don't adjust your play at all. You're not denying creeps, you're not doing anything, and now the lane's just really hard pushed. So you do drag aggro here, so that's good. That's like better than nothing. You're trying to fix it, but this is something where you need to prioritize lane equilibrium super early on. So I don't care what the fuck's going on over here. I'm denying these creeps because the lane equilibrium is not good. If the lane equilibrium is good, you then have permission to do other things, okay? So the lane equilibrium has not been good ever since Dawnbreaker fucked that up, and you have not done anything to fix it, really, other than aggroing to your range. So I really need this denied, and then, like, you know, instead of aggroing these creeps away because you went and hit, I would have had this creep below half as well and denied that too. At the very least now, the lane's pushing forward. We're going to draw aggro to our range immediately, which you did. That's good. And then we need to accept that this is a missed creep, and we need to aggro these to our next range creep. That's what you're supposed to do here. Instead, you're trading with... okay, if you want to try to kill Pudge, he's your level 2. Sure. If he's going to overextend like that, that's fine. Okay. So now we need to draw aggro to our range. Okay, he just killed it for us. Very good. So what we needed to do here was, even though he killed the range creep, we still need to draw aggro, pull them to us, and then have these 3 creeps meet this wave back here. So because you didn't do that, the lane's going to stay right here instead of like being right here. I'm going to fast forward.
Denied.
You're just in like a super free farm lane. I think this is overly passive. Dawnbreaker is a very heavy kill 5. Very good at killing people. You're also against a Pudge. I guess it's Bane Core, which is kind of weird. But yeah, you're just seeing that you're able to kill them. I think this is overly conservative. I would have probably gone like Boots Orb of Venom and like an extra set of Tangos just to compensate. I would say most lanes on Ursa you're not able to kill. Level 3, always take 2 points in this, please. Just read the skill, right? I don't think I've ever played a lane of Ursa where I don't have 2 points in this at level 3. It goes from 10 to 19. It's like pretty drastic. Yeah, you're not going to kill this guy. You just don't have 2 points. Furious Wipes. A lot of Dota things are situational, but I don't think there's any situation that I would level 1-1-1 on Ursa. So it's like your approach of buying the Ring of Health is like reasonable, you know? It's like conservative. I'm going to sustain, farm. If my 5 goes for kills, so be it. But I want you to have like a better gauge than that. You know, yours is like a overall safe approach, and that'll probably get you to like 4K, 5K at most. And then you'll cap out really hard if you build like that every single game. So it's just something I want you to keep in mind, that like you were really strong in this lane. You were capable of being very aggressive with your early items and then going back for the Battle Fury. But by going Ring of Health first, it kind of just like shuts that plan down. Okay. If it was Core Pudge, I'd probably go Phase Boots. I don't know. It's an interesting build you have. If I'm playing to farm, I usually go Treads on Ursa, unless I need the Phase. But it looks like you're like also trying to be aggressive. I think the default boots, if you're going to go Battle Fury, is Treads. So just letting you know, if you bought Phase, it's because you think you needed them. So yeah, a really good start for you. Is your courier dead or something? What happened? Why'd your courier take so long to deliver? Okay, your courier's alive. Okay, so all BS aside, however long it takes you to fly your Phase Boots from this very moment is inefficiency. Right. So it's 7 minutes that you could have had your Phase Boots.
Ours, not yours.
Flying out to you, so you'd probably have them right about now. So yeah, you had the gold for Phase Boots at 7 minutes, and you're gonna get them at... nine, right? That's just bad. Like, not much else to say there. It's gonna make you play much less aggressive if you don't buy your items and fly them to yourself. But okay, I'm gonna push out the lane. Yeah, that's fine with me. I wouldn't really concern myself with shutting down an off-lane Bane. I would just play for my own game. Yeah, only time I'd go on the Bane is with a teammate, because Bane kind of fucks one guy. Yeah, I mean, Pudge is just crazy.
I'd honestly be a bit nervous to walk up to lane against Bane all by myself. I think that's kind of courageous that you're doing that. Like, this is scary to me. Every time you're doing this is a bit scary. I would, like, let him push the lane into me while prioritizing jungle camps. The thing is, if Bane got a +1 here at any point, he should just kill you. It looks like he has no mana, but the fact that they're not even trying to kill you with Fiend's Grip offlane Bane, I guess it's just 3k MMR Dota, I don't know. But I would be very scared to walk up here against any hero with like a single target ultimate, Doom, Bane, Beastmaster. I wouldn't be walking up like this. Like, this is just scaring me. But, you know, fortunately, they're not doing anything. So the issue is you're stacking this camp. I guess you're doing it for your Battle Fury. I would have been slowly killing it over time, rather than stacking it for my Battle Fury. But if they're not invading you, then it's not going to backfire. I just want you to know what you did, rather than wearing down the camp little by little, and getting your Battle Fury a bit earlier. What you did is very vulnerable to the opponent just having SF walk top and kill your stack. But fortunately, you know, they're not doing anything. Yeah, so this is a situation where the camps just respawned. It's 14 minutes. You have a choice to go left or right here. Right is more passive, while left is more aggressive, right? So we see Clinks on the map. We see Bane and Undying on the map. And so I think you have ample information possibly needed to be more aggressive on the map. And you're going to go right, so that's really bad. That's usually going to result in you doubling back over your own farm. Like, you walked here, and then you walked here, and that's something we don't want to do, if ever avoidable. It's just inefficient. I would buy a Windlace here. Whenever I'm Ursa, if I'm farming with Battle Fury, I pretty much always buy Windlace. It's super efficient, because you farm camps really fast. And movement speed is your primary limitation. So your team's getting ran over. Need you to run back top. Yep, you did. Okay. So overall, you're like willing to return to your safe lane. You're starting your farm pattern here. It's not bad. Okay, so Clinks is yoinking your jungle a little bit. If you die here, it's like really bad, by the way. It's like insanely bad. Yeah. So this is just no map awareness. So notice how earlier, when I said to walk left, because you had all the information in the world. So like here, you're in the same situation. Literally the same camp, same choice to go left or right. I see a lane pushed in bottom. I see all 4 of my heroes are mid huddled together. And I see literally nobody on the enemy team. Right? The guy that's dead is Undying. Like, he doesn't really do anything. So this is a case where, like, from what I see here, I'm supposed to go right. Right? I'm supposed to go right, most likely head towards my Ancients, maybe go TB bottom and farm this if nobody else is. But, like, I don't have any information to tell me that I'm allowed to advance on the map. Nothing about what I see here tells me, like, be more aggressive, right? So then you're going to go back towards the aggressive part of the map, see? Like, this is what we don't want. We have still no information telling us anything. So you advance back to the lane, everyone's missing, and then you die, right? Okay. When the net worths look like they do, that is a game-losing death. Or a drastically game-extending death. I mean, you're just nuts. There just has to be something about, like, where your team is on the map combined with how many people you see affecting the aggressiveness of your plays. So, like, when your entire team was here or here and you saw nobody running like this. Your entire team is over here or here and you see nobody. Then you go on this guy. This needs just... this is what I kind of expected. Like, pretty decent mechanics, efficiency, all that kind of stuff. Pretty bad map awareness. That's kind of what I expected when you told me your story of playing a lot of League but not having played Dota. So these things just add up to not going on this guy. And you did it again, so... This is not worth it, by the way. Not worth it at all. Clinks is farming this entire time. You're #1 net worth in the game. With a Battle Fury, I would not do this play again. It kind of worked out because your team smoked towards you. Like, it wasn't all that bad, but it went even trade after your... Like, in terms of net worth, the net worth impact of that play was even, and I think it went about as best as it could. Okay, so we're working on our Battle Fury. I think the value win lace will go far for you if you buy it. Showing up to the fight right before BKB. Didn't push ulti preemptively. Unfortunate. Yeah, going to the fight right before BKB, then not pressing your defensive spell. We've all been there. Every carry player's learned that lesson. Need you to buy dust for Clinks. You're gonna jump him, so I need you to buy dust. Okay. I'd probably buy Shard here too. Shard on Ursa is similar to like Dark Pact on Slark. It gives you like a second to think about whether or not you want to ulti when you go in. So, because Roche hasn't even died one time yet, I would probably buy Shard here. But you get some kills, immediately go for Roche. You don't have lifesteal though. That was kind of risky, to be honest. You're gonna TP home. Run back out. Don't leave creep waves behind. Notice how you finish this creep wave, and there's a creep wave right there. So you got to get a better sense of where the creep waves are. So like every creep wave is going to be at the same place at the same time. That's just you know, consistency in Dota. One of the few things that is consistent. So don't be here where it would take you 2 seconds to clear a creep wave that's already coming and leave, right? I understand you're probably in a rush because of this TP. Just don't be rushed, you know? I don't care if your team's smoking or whatever. Like, this is just... You're jeopardizing map control for some, like, perfect timing in 3K. And I just don't want that to happen. So I would have just been 2 seconds later to this fight, maybe 3. But what you did is fine. I want you to have dust for that Clinks, but I guess you don't have an inventory slot. Okay. Okay. But definitely buy Shard here. So we're gonna get a tier 2 off this. I wouldn't go high ground because I'm an Ursa. You guys just have like virtually no tower damage, no Dawnbreaker ultimate, no Doom. This would be a situation if you're gonna go high ground, I would just force fortification and back. So there's a lot of reasons why that you force fortification and back here. One, you're an Ursa. Your hero is much better at killing people and creeps than it is killing towers. 2, you have no intention of fighting the opponent. Doom is up, but you don't have OD ult, you don't have Dawnbreaker ult, you don't have Grimstroke ultimate. And 3, you're not exactly on a timer to end this game. Your team scales very well, and you're also like very farmed. Most of the time when it comes to Aegis heroes, you want to end the game with second Aegis, or like at least look to go high ground with second Aegis. So there's just nothing here screaming to me that you're supposed to like push the high ground. I want you to know that like high ground is the exception with first Aegis. Like first Aegis, usually you do not go high ground. So to go high ground means you have to have like a very, very significant reason for going high ground. But thirdly, something that you probably wouldn't consider is that it's 27-11. So all I would do is I would recognize it's the beginning of a new minute. I would force them to fortify. The minute they fortify, I'm just going to farm this. Going to go cut the wave mid, run across the map at anybody on the map who's farming. And basically what's going to happen is Clinks is going to respawn at 2740. All of these camps are going to be gone. He's going to have nothing to farm for 20 seconds. You're going to have farmed for the last 30 seconds. And then you're going to be able to run at him for 20 seconds while he has nothing to do, okay? So basically, I think this is an inefficient tower push because you're allowing somebody on their team who you see to farm, and your heroes just aren't good at this. That's not what your heroes do, okay? This isn't likely to be a Rax that you get, and even if you were to get the Rax, I wouldn't think it's actually worth it. Also, with the new way Dota works, they get a second fortify when you kill the tier 3, so it just becomes harder and harder to get that lane of Rax, which is what happened here. That fortification on the Rax made it so you didn't get the lane. Basically, this approach to high ground isn't worth it because of the 50-50 chance that this is how it plays out. That you guys don't get Rax. The way I look at it is the result of this fight looks like it's okay for you guys, right? A lot of people would argue that, like, you went 4 for 2. Clinks died. The issue is that when you're winning, the number one priority, if possible, should just be to have lanes pushed out in your favor. Because that means you're farming more than the opponent. That is always a rule of thumb. If your lanes are pushed in, you are farming more than they are. So the approach that I told you to take, where you backed off at 27, farmed backwards, ran across the map as you farmed to get the SF back in his base, what's going to happen is this lane's going to be pushed in, this lane's going to be pushed in, Klink's going to have respawned. All 3 lanes are pushed in. You're going to reestablish control of this area at 28 minutes flat, and the opponent can't leave their base. Okay, like that's what's going to happen. Because all the lanes are pushed in, you guys are sitting on their triangle, and they have nowhere to go. But the problem is now, you guys win this fight, but you're going to have to back off, clear these waves, and you're not going to be able... Like, the opponent's going to be allowed to leave their base now, which is what we don't want. So I wouldn't worry about this wave as much as I'm worried about these camps. But we cleared the camps, so we're good. Please take their camps again. So this is a situation where it's a new minute. Prioritizing farming as aggressively as we can on a new minute. So it's 29 minutes. 2 heroes dead. We see 2 more. You should feel perfectly safe to farm this camp. No reason not to. It's the most aggressive camp on the map. And you are super in control, so you're going to back off. Giving them this ability to retake their triangle and take some of that farm on, like, SF or Clinks. Yeah, like, giving Clinks this farm is what's going to lose you these long games. Or, like, delay the game. Okay. So what happened here? Sorry, I don't mind Lincoln's, in, especially when you can't really trust your teammates, like OD, to save you, maybe. Yeah, so here's your common issue. You're getting kills, and you're wanting to hit buildings. That's pretty much it, honestly. You're playing Ursa, you get kills, you're winning fights, and you say, let's go siege. Let's go take tier 2s. No. Let's go farm more camps and kill more heroes. That's what Ursa does. And wait for Roche. In the other case, you had Roche, so what that means is you should just run around the map with impunity, because they're never going to kill you twice. In this case, like, if you already have Roche, you can just run around the map killing people. And in this case, like, it's the same idea. The thing about Ursa is he's very similar to Slark. He's much better at killing heroes than he is at killing buildings, and he's much about jumping them instead of getting jumped. Like, that's a lot about what Ursa is, right? So the fact that, I want you to think about it this way, the same ability that you use to kill heroes, you would be required to use on towers, right? You have to use Overpower to kill towers at, like, any reasonable rate. So if you use Overpower to hit the tower, then you're not going to have Overpower to hit heroes. So you may think that Clinks is the only one alive, or SF's the only one alive. There's unlikely that they're going to go on you. This is just something that happens to me so often as Ursa. What I would do here is I'd get these kills and I'd run through, take these 2 camps. I would literally just farm backwards on the minute, chasing after this guy, looking to set up for next Roche. The new minute spawns, 31 minutes. I'm probably going to start right here as much as I can and then do it again. That's my priority. This game's going to go long because you're not playing Ursa fundamentally correct. You're winning fights and hitting buildings. That's not Ursa. Win fights, kill more heroes, kill more creeps. That's the 2 options, right? Yeah, you're just playing Ursa like you're Terrorblade or something. Every hero in the carry role has a way to capitalize on getting kills, taking map control. There's heroes that kill, there's heroes that push lanes, there's heroes that push buildings. You are a creep clearing hero killing hero, and you're hitting buildings, so that's what's happening in here. It's going to take you a while to reset the map now. I need you to go back to Roche. Going down here makes no sense. I need you at Roche. That's how you advance the game. This tier 2 means nothing. The fact that the opponent didn't take Roche was really nice of them. When they saw 4 of you bottom, they should have just taken it. So yeah, you should have bought a shard way earlier. I don't like this TP. Don't make this TP. Only make this TP if there's an enemy hero here. Never TP defensively on the map for creep waves, especially when you're this strong. So if you're concerned about this creep wave up here, then you need to cut this creep wave every minute, okay? Just keep cutting this. The only time you would ever go back here is for an enemy hero, okay? So what happens is, if that's your concern, you can just keep cutting the wave right here, and eventually this lane will walk into tower, and then the tower will push it back for you, right? You'll just keep basically cutting off the reinforcements. So never make this TP. This is a garbage TP. Never do this. Just cut mid and top. Cut this. Never go back on the map. So it'd be like, what you would do here, 34 minutes, new minute, right? You would cut this creep wave, kill this camp, and then run across the map towards these guys. That's exactly what you're supposed to do here. But you're completely removing yourself from the map in order to clear this wave. The opponent knows exactly where you are for a minute and a half. That gives them the opportunity to do whatever the fuck they want, which is kill your teammate. You're now, like, sieging a base as Ursa. Oh, no. We're gonna wrap this up here. You are what we call a map sweeper. A kill hero with a battle fury. We are a map sweeper. You cut the wave, clear the camps, and then you sweep. You clean the map. Enemy heroes are fucking dust on your floor, okay? You are a sweeper. Get them off my map. They are little dots on the floor that I do not want there, okay? Get them off the fucking map. Sweep them away. So, 3409, clear creep, wave, creep camps, run across. And then what's going to happen is they're going to see you coming probably because they have a ward. And they're going to like push one more wave, and then they're going to run away or TP home. And then you're going to cut this wave at 3445. You're going to cut this one right here, and then you're going to sweep your way right back to where you were before. And then you're going to resume at 3509. You know, if you haven't killed heroes at this point. If you haven't killed any heroes, 3509, clear, and then sweep across. It's literally what you're doing. You're clearing creep waves this entire time while running at the enemy team. Okay? And that's what hunting heroes do. That's what Ursa, Slark, any hero with mobility and creep clear. So Slark doesn't necessarily clear all the camps. He would ignore the camps and then go to heroes. But any hero with creep clear ability, with any amount of mobility or movement speed, would do this. So Monkey King, TA, Ursa, Anti-Mage, even like Wraith King with cleave talent. Any heroes like this. You are map sweepers. You go kill heroes. You do not hit buildings. Wraith King's a bit different because he has summons and you might throw them at the tower. But yeah, you're just not playing Ursa, basically. So it's totally fine. Pretty good replay. This is exactly what I expected. Mechanics are pretty decent. Map awareness is a bit lacking. And the understanding of what your hero specifically does in the game and adjusting to that is what you're lacking. So you need to start thinking about the carry heroes you're playing. And the under the context of like, am I a map clearer? Am I a hero hunter? Am I a tower pusher? A wave clearer? Like, what am I? So when I get kills, what do I do with it? So the only reason I don't do what my hero would normally do is if that isn't possible. So say I'm a tower hitter and like Terrorblade, we win a fight and all the lanes are on our side of the map. So that means I literally can't hit a tower, right? That means I'm going to go clear waves, right? I'm going to go farm jungle and clear waves with my illusions. It's like, if I'm Ursa, if there's literally no heroes to kill on the map, then I am going to push base, right? But if there are heroes to kill, I will at least run at them, right? While I farm. When I have Battle Fury, while I farm, I'm just going to run at them. Like, I'm just going to run at them while farming, right? And what's going to basically happen is I'm going to be off map. This guy's getting like Jaws vibes, you know, dun-dun, dun-dun, like, it's coming. Dun-dun-dun. I don't know. He doesn't know where you are. He just knows you're coming. And in the whole time you're farming. So, shift of priorities there. Okay. I'm going to come back to that other guy because I gave him a replay. I'm going to add, let me know if you want to submit a new one for October following watching the other review. Just did. I'm not going to do his second replay in case he wants a different replay because it was a late submission for September, early submission for October, so it's a chance he just learns the same lessons again. That's not good. Fury swipes should be renamed Fury sweeps. How's everybody doing? Brief break to talk to chat. Are you guys enjoying these replays? Are you learning something? Are you enjoying the flame? You guys having a good morning? Win ranked. Kindly refer to the schedule. Exclamation point schedule. Nah, no ability arena today. Well, I might play later, but I'm going to play pubs at my pub time. That guy's odd. Doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't fucking matter. Tell them what you're gonna do. Happens in my bracket. Doesn't fucking matter. You're 5.5k and you're learning? Hell yeah. Is there a way to submit one game to you without subbing to the Patreon? No. As of now, no. Hell yeah, Braj. Brojo. First time chatter, Pog. Was that a gifted sub or did you actually sub? Oh, you just subbed just now. Hell yeah. Let's go. Welcome, dude. Moostradamus. Basically, high grounding has to be more efficient than other options. So if your team has no high ground hitter, then it's going to become more and more specific at which point you would actually hit high ground. If Ursa, if you have Aegis and map control, okay. So basically, on Ursa and Heroes of the Like, you do the sweeping movement. If the enemy team is sitting in base, you just keep doing it. If they're dying to you, then you can look to go base, right? You can look to siege base after you've killed all the creeps. So you go back and forth on the map, keeping them in their base while farming. If they die to you while you're doing it, then you can look to push high ground. If they don't die to you, then you never go high ground. Because what's effectively happening is you're just out farming them. You're just getting more gold than they are. So there's no reason to go high ground if they're just sitting in base. Ever. Like, literally ever. There's just no point. Let them sit in base, getting no gold. Huh, you feel wrong getting it for free. Can you explain what makes Naga Siren strong? So she gets lane momentum super early in the game. If she's in a good Naga game. Like, if you compare Naga to TB, her illusions can start clearing waves like level 7, right? Like super fast, and if like the hero can't deal with the creeps, like Naga's gonna push the lane and jungle at like level 7, which is like pretty insane, right? So you start this like map snowball, and then basically you're using illusions to clear waves, while enemy is using heroes to fight your illusions. So that basically means you have superior information, superior numbers at like any fight that you choose to take. And that's what makes Naga good. So in the end, unless you have some sick Naga combo, like Disruptor or something, you can just always take the fights that you want. And eventually you itemize to kill the people showing on your illusions. Like, I think the ideal Naga build is Manta, and then like Manta, Lincoln's Butterfly, Strength Blink Sheep, or Blink Sheep, Strength Blink. You can also go Silver Edge instead of Blink. Kind of depends on the game. But instead of Butterfly Lincolns, you can also go like Heart Butterfly. But I think that's like the ideal build, because it fits perfectly. You like take over the lanes, you push them in constantly, and then you kill them. And you get these items by like 35 minutes, and the game's just over. Naga can have like 35-minute 6-slot. Like, that's very reasonable if you're playing her properly in a good Naga game. So that's like the way Naga wins the game. I don't like Bloodthorn on Naga because people usually buy a way to remove your net. So if they're buying a way to remove your net, they can also remove Bloodthorn. You're also not hitting them with your main hero nearly as often, so like the Mage Slayer effect of it isn't that great. I've played like 5 or 6 Naga games this patch. 5. My running on Naga historically is not that great, but you can see I've definitely gotten better at her. 12 and 8 in the last 20. Where is it? Was it this game? Yeah, this is the build. Like, this is what you want. Silver Edge or Strength Blink with Sheep. Like, these items, Strength Blink, Silver, or Sheep. And, this is what Naga looks like. I think you just win, generally. Okay. You think Bloodthorn's really good? I disagree, obviously, but it's up to you. If they can't remove your net, they're probably dead anyway. And if they can remove your net, they can remove Bloodthorn, so. That's my argument. There's really no convincing me otherwise. There's definitely games for Bloodthorn, but in pubs, no. In pubs, I would just go Sheep. I've learned from multiple Naga games that you can't trust your teammates to make use of the information you're providing them. So you have to make use of your own information, and that's why you go Silver Edge or Strength Blink Sheep. And that's the best way to make use of your own information. Okay. Is that why Yatoro and Ags Bloodthorn and TI? Exactly. Yatoro is on a professional team, which means his team will make use of his hero. So Ags Bloodthorn is very good when you can trust your teammates. That is definitely the build. It's like a timing snowball build where you're ahead, your opponents or your teammates are going to help you kill people, and you're going to basically run them over. It's like a snowballing build. If you're in a pub and you go that build and your teammates are not playing aggressively with you and you die one time, you lose. I promise. I absolutely promise you, you will lose the game. How do I know? Because I've done it. If you're asking me, you know, why would Yatoro go to TI? Because his teammates are all 12k and they're coordinated.
Prepare for battle.
Ah, I have a piece of an apple. How does Naga deal with Peel? I'd say pretty naturally. Naga just wins against Peel. That's a favorite matchup. Both heroes are illusions. One hero has AoE, the other one doesn't. So that's a very good matchup for Naga. I mean, everybody has a... I wouldn't say anybody's like 100% one or the other like JPEG, but I would say Bloodseeker, AM, and Void are not very good at going high ground. Lifestealer is situationally good at going high ground if they can't stun you through BKB. I have 3 control groups. I actually have a fundamentals video coming out later this week, 20, on that exact question. But yeah, I control 2 illusions with one hotkey, the other 2 illusions with another hotkey, Manta on another hotkey, and then I have select all units and select all other units. But yeah, I literally have a video coming out on that. I've already recorded it. It's like long done. It just has to get released probably Thursday. Keep an eye out. Okay. It's a good question though. It's like, it makes sense that you'd ask the question. Okay. What do you use to select your hero? I use 1. Just 1, not F1. Okay, welcome back. We got ourselves another 2200 MMR replay. Dazzle, support. Coach B, I'm back. I had a couple carry coaching sessions last year. Didn't play much after TI. Started back up in the summer. Started back as support. Have stuck with it mostly. With a better lane, I think we would have won this game. Ursa would accelerate more, yada, yada, yada. On the other hand, in my life, I've never seen a Tinker shoot more rockets. Tinker's very strong, especially with Night Stalker. Playing support, I've tried to be more vocal, try to keep my teammates coordinated. I do think it's helped, but it is not perfect. I see plenty of mistakes, but I'm unsure what I should prioritize to focus on improving. I noted a couple things. I try to be brief. Doing the 315 creep pull, I felt like had a butterfly effect negatively. I thought our lane was pushing more than it was, and a lot of Ursa's push lanes quite a bit. I feel like after I grabbed Bounty at 4, I should have brought regen and another sentry to myself. I think that would have been big. They have a small camp warded. We miss out on pulls before I can deward. End up with the lane pushed out. Ursa dies. Told Ursa we should go on Night Stalker at 10 minutes. I thought that could turn things around for us. Ursa stays in lane after Grave and dies. My excuse is I didn't see the bramble behind the tree and panicked. Sure, man. Let's check it out. So yeah, Night Stalker, Tinker, Anti-Mage. You guys got to win the early game for sure. Like no doubt, we have to win the early game. I don't love Windlace here, to be honest. I don't know what you're really running away from. I would have definitely looked to buy more trading items. You're like ultra AFK here. I was like really AFK of you. Lane's like already pushing really hard. Go pull small right away.
Denied.
Don't know why you didn't pull here. That was like the perfect invitation to pull small. Looks like just a brain fart. Luckily, they're letting you pull large. I think the Willow could have stopped that, but he didn't. But pulling large is the next best thing. I would have stacked small at this time. So right here, while this camp is dying, I would have walked over and stacked this. We'll probably try to heal bomb this big camp. Missing that stack is pretty important. A lot of little efficiency things you're missing. Pulling in 115. Since you didn't pulled hard, you could have stacked the small. I think you're prioritizing the wrong target. Ursa's very good against Night Stalker because he's melee and Fury swipes, but he's really bad against Willow. and Night Stalker's barely going to harass Ursa at all because of that dynamic. Willow, on the other hand, can kind of just hit Ursa nonstop. So with my time and efforts, I'd be prioritizing the Willow, not the Night Stalker.
Hunt them all down.
So you pulled at 315.
Magic is an abomination.
So the thing about this pull is it's kind of fine in the sense that, like, you know, the lane's pushing into you, though, right? And you just have to acknowledge that. So just fucking kill the creeps. Heal bomb the wave. You know? Just kill the creeps really fast. Instead, you're, like, taking your sweet-ass time. You're not paying attention at all. You're just, like, jacking off over here. You're not even hitting enemy creeps. And then, like, you gave them all the time in the world to, like, walk over and contest you, right? If the lane's pushing into you, it's also important to note that the opponent is not going to have anything else to do, so they're going to walk over and contest you. So you need to be done with this camp by the time that they're done here. So by not noticing that the lane's pushing in on multiple levels, honestly, the pull's not that bad if you just kill it accordingly. Whenever you pull the camp, you should have a general idea of how long it's going to take the opponent to notice that you've pulled and how long it's going to take them to walk over. And ideally, you would be done by the time that they come over. That's not always possible, right? But at the very least, you'd be, like, defensively positioned. You know, by the time they walk over, instead of being standing right here, you'd be, like, right here. You know? You took your sweet-ass time clearing the camp, and then you stood, like, super out of position over here. So if you either tried to clear the camp, or you at least moved yourself over here, it'd be much better, right? So a lot of, like, little things you're missing on the efficiency front. You said you were a carry player, so you're probably just a little out of practice, just lacking the muscle memory of a support, I would say.
My face.
Yeah, not flying yourself a sentry, definitely gonna cost you there. Yeah, I mean, that's a combination of you not having the pull camp available, but then Ursa also overplaying it. Takes both of you fucking up for that to happen.
Double damage.
Shadow wave.
So I would definitely want a ward in this scenario. Nighttime against Night Stalker, you just have to have a ward. I'd place it, like, right here or, like, right here. If I could have placed it at daytime where they wouldn't see me, probably, like, up here somewhere. The fact that you're against Night Stalker at nighttime with no ward is definitely really bad, though. I also, like, I know I have the spoiler alert because I just saw it, but I was gonna say it anyway, I promise. You should de-ward, you should sentry here and here. Most of the time, because if they have Night Stalker, they're going to look to invade you at your pull camp when you're by yourself, and they also want to know when the carry is by himself. So most people will place a ward that sees you here, okay? Because that's, like, the #1 indicator that you're gone, and you need them to not know when you're gone, okay? That's the #1 thing. Even if your opponents aren't good enough to place these wards, you don't want them against Night Stalker type heroes, like kill type offlaners that are going to go on your carry. You don't want them to know when you're over here. Because it's a big difference for them to go on your Ursa here if they don't know where you are. So you want this area to be dewarded, and you want this to be dewarded. It's, like, really important. So having 2 sentries in a ward and not using it against Night Stalker, bad support fundamentals. Yeah, walking out and warding without first. Okay, so when you're in mid, if I think I warded first, I'm not going to necessarily need a sentry. If you're laning in the safe lane and if you warded at, like, 5 minutes flat or earlier, it's unlikely that you'll need a sentry preemptively, right? But when the longer you wait to ward, the more likely it is the opponent has already warded because you haven't seen the area, right? You haven't actually seen them do anything over here. So, like, at any point in the last 4 minutes, the Willow could have walked over in this area and warded it. So not dewarding, waiting till 9 minutes to walk out and just casually ward when it's increasingly likely that the opponent has a ward that just saw you do that is not good. Not good support fundamentals. Okay. Basically, this entire dynamic is happening because they know where you are. I'm just letting you know. I mean, you went on the Night Stalker. You told him to go. Okay. So what I want you to think about, to learn from this, is that right now, 2 enemy heroes are dead and top lane is pushed. So what that means is 15 seconds from now, you are going to have infinitely more information than you are right now. The reason why this is because people are respawning, which means like they're going to have a TP, they're going to TP somewhere. And then your teammate is also pressuring, which means that the opponent has something you know they're going to react to, right? So what that means is if your teammate's pressuring and 20 seconds from now you don't see anybody on the map, they're ganking, obviously, right? They're doing something on the map. They're doing something, so you would want to play more cautiously, right? But basically you went for a move where all the signs are telling us 20 seconds from now we're going to have all the information in the world. And so it's basically a rushed play while Pudge is respawning. I think this play would have been fine if it's 10 seconds from now, because Pudge would have probably gone somewhere else. And then Ursa doesn't get hooked, and then the play's fine, right? But that's a situation where you know whatever's happening on the map is good for you. In this case, the tower's dying. So you can just wait for the opponent to do something and then punish whatever they're not doing. So say Pudge TP's top, then you make this play, right? But instead, you know, you didn't do that, so that's what pressure is all about. That's what it's for. That's why pushing lanes is important. It lets you make easier decisions. Okay. It's like a weird... This is like such a weird play for me. Okay. I would say the first time you TP to the top lane, you deward it. Every single time. I tell people this, it's just fundamental. It's the same idea as bottom, right? At 5 minutes, if you haven't warded yet, it becomes increasingly likely that they've warded here. Just walking out, it's going to get dewarded, right? Obviously, they dewarded it late. Unfortunate for you, it's 2 seconds left. But same idea here. You're TPing top for the first time and you want to place a ward. Just Sentry where they're almost certainly going to ward. Like, if they don't ward there, it's fine, right? But we need to, like, cover our bases. So you just place a Sentry right here, see if they have a lane ward. It's over here in this specific case, but, like, you'll find it if it's there. And I just need you to not TP into new areas or walk into areas you haven't seen for a while and just casually ward it without centering around you, okay? It's super important. You're just going to get dewarded all the time if you do this. Basically, I need your warding game to be better than 2K if we want you to climb. And right now, you're probably right on par with 2K. You know, you're just kind of lazily walking up and warding. You've got 4 sentries on you. So, like, right now, you're sieging a tower at nighttime, limited vision. Like, I'm looking at this area. I'm fucking terrified. I'm placing a sentry here, probably a ward on the hill, retreating to it. Like, I'm fucking terrified. And you're just like, nah, we're chilling, dude. Nighttime, no ward vision, like, fucking Night Stalker ultimate available. Like, let's just fucking go. This is just going to spell disaster, I imagine. I can't fathom this is good for you guys. Yeah. You're just failing your job as support. I need you to sentry here, place a ward. Please, do not siege towers at nighttime with no vision. Yikers. Literally game throwing. You have dropped the ball, my friend. Totally expected if you're coming back to Dota after a long time. Also, especially if you're a carry player prior to the break that you took. But yeah, your warding game is terrible. So let's just focus on that. So just remember these rules. The longer you've waited to ward an area, the more likely it is that you need to sentry it. The first time entering an area, you should sentry it. Pretty much public service announcement for all support players is, it seems like the last 3 replays I've done, none of you give a shit about dewarding and warding mid lane. None of you give a shit for whatever reason. Like, this area is like the most important area to have ward control of in the entire map. Based on like how much happens in per square unit of an area, this area is the most impactful. There's 2 very important towers. There's power runes that can like make or break people dying on the map. And anybody who wants to travel from one side lane to another is going to travel through here. So this is like the most important area, if possible, to control. And it's not that I feel like you guys are improperly warding it or improperly centering it. You guys are literally not. Okay? You're just not. So I need you to. Okay? Rules of thumb, you know, enter new areas, sentry them, siege towers, mid lane, sentry it. This involves playing around power runes. Honestly, movements as supports, you gravitate towards mid lane every 2 minutes. It's like every power rune, you want to be somewhat near here. Every time you're not with the power rune, you can kind of leave. That's like the flow of the map for supports. At the highest level, people have obviously optimized it. I want you to like kind of resemble that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to see a little bit of it. And whenever you do that, you naturally bring yourself to the mid lane to like check runes and stuff. You're also going to de-ward. You're also going to place wards, and you're going to have control. And it's like if you go place a ward mid and a sentry, and then they kill your ward and sentry, you're going to assume they had a ward somewhere, or like at least go kill their sentry to make sure you place another ward, right? Like, I want this area to look like it matters to you guys, you know? And based on how you guys play, it clearly doesn't. It's especially important if you're winning to hold control of that area. It's unacceptable to not have it if you're winning. And if you're losing, it's so important if the opponent ever gives you an opening to safely de-ward the river that you take it. It's like if you're losing and you're dazzle and like the enemy shows 3 heroes here, you would want to immediately take that opportunity to go de-ward this area, right? Because you have to assume that they're warding it because they're controlling it because they're winning. Right? So both replays I've seen recently, the guy I'm watching is winning, and he's just not warding mid lane. So go for the ward when you're winning. Look for any opportunity to de-ward it when you're losing. Right? So opponent fights into you with no Night Stalker ultimate. Very nice of them. Am I seeing Oracle's perspective with your items? I think I was. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. I think I've seen enough for this replay. So this is actually a really good replay for you. Okay? And the reason why is because there's a lot of reasons other than the heroes you're playing against that I know your warding game is really poor. Okay, and that's totally fine. Warding is kind of a tough part about Dota, but there's like these fundamentals that I feel like you just need to get ingrained, right? So, but the reason why this is such a perfect replay for you is because the opponent team, like every team has like a reliance on vision on a scale of 1 to 10. And you also have to like combine that with their ability to acquire vision. You know, there's vision heroes in Dota. Night Stalker is the archetype of all vision heroes in Dota, right? Because he's one of like 5 heroes in the game that has 1800 night vision, and he also on cooldown has flying night vision, which is like fucking nutty. So like, what's the only way that you could ever fight somebody who has flying night vision? That is to have a ward placed in an area that gives you 1600 night vision. Is that crazy? Of course not. It is not. Every single fight that they take, they are going to have 1800 flying night vision. And if you have absolutely no vision and they have 1800 flying night vision, they're going to fucking win. It is that simple. So, like, it doesn't matter what the lineups are, right? So what I'm basically trying to say is every game that you don't ward in team fights, where your team is playing to siege towers or take Roche, or in this case, play like a fight down here. Like, I need you to fucking ward right here. I need a ward right here. I just need wards on hills so you guys can see as much as they do. The thing is that if you're not against a Night Stalker and you don't place these wards, there's a chance that the opponent team is just like you, where they don't have any wards either. So then it's like equal playing field. Both teams are playing equally blind, right? But like, if you're playing against a Night Stalker, the opponent doesn't have to be any good. The Night Stalker just pushes R, and he's going to have flying night vision, right? So what happens here is that you are understanding the value of one team being able to see the other. and vice versa not being true. Okay? You're basically understanding the importance of vision from this game. So basically, the fundamentals of centering areas that you've never been before, controlling areas that you're looking to fight or take objectives. Like if you are fighting, especially at nighttime, even not against Night Stalker, if you don't have vision around you, you're just fucking blind, waiting to get ambushed. That's all that's happening. You're literally waiting for the opponent to wrap on you, and if they have wards at all, you're fucked. So if you're looking to fight at all, ever, it should be on vision, period. Like, no matter what game it is, no matter where the fight is, you should have information. Like, otherwise, like, information in Dota is crucial, right? So if you're sieging this tower, if you're fighting down here, it is your job as a support to supply your team with vision in these cases. Another thing you could do is also just say, I don't have a ward, or like play towards our vision. You know, tell your team, like, play around this ward. Like, say this was your only ward. Instead of your team pursuing like this, you guys would probably get these kills right here, and then you'd back off towards your vision. But like, ideally, you would have another ward or two on you, and as a team, you would advance to this area, and you would ward it. That is your job, okay? And I'm just telling you, man, this is to make you feel better, because it's true. I've had plenty of games in my Immortal bracket where I have had supports for 40 minutes in a row that we took a fight at nighttime and they did not have a ward. And every single fight I had to like be like, I guess we can't fight. And then I walk away. Like, and we just never win any fights. We never take any fights because we literally played a 40-minute fucking game with no nighttime ward. It was mind-boggling. Okay? Mind-boggling. These are 9K average games. So please, be better than those 9K MMR core players that are stuck playing support. Be better than them, because right now you are a former 2K core player playing support. So I need you to give me fucking vision of the people killing me, okay? That's what I need. And you may say, BSJ, all the memes about like the carry dying to a gank and then, oh, where's my wards? It's like, but it's true in these fights, right? In these fights themselves, you guys are fighting, sieging buildings. You are sitting on 2 wards and 4 sentries, and you have 0 vision. Unacceptable. But it's a good game for it, because Night Stalker is going to punish this weakness really hard. But yeah, Night Stalker Tinker is a scary fucking combo. Bounty Hunter Tinker, Night Stalker Tinker are like some of the scariest shit in the world, because they have vision of you with track, or vision of you with Night Stalker ult, and he can just spam rockets from like 2,000 range and kill you. So very, very... very scary combos. But yeah, man. Little fundamental things to work on. Appreciate the submission of your replay. And best of luck. I want to see a much better ward game next time. In your description, if you do come back for another one, please tell me you're the guy I yelled at to ward against Night Stalker. Just tell me like that. That'll help me remember what I really wanted to drill home, you know, for you to learn from. So, okay. Sometimes your cores play so passive that your support wards get D wards. Of course, that's a core problem. That's obviously not the problem here, though. They sieged mid. He had all the time in the world to sentry around him, and he didn't. There was a fight bottom. He had all the time to place a ward there at any point, and he didn't, right? So it's like, yes, you're correct. The warding game is not just supports. The thing is, in my bracket, for me personally, if my supports have wards, I will trust myself as a carry player who understands the importance of wards to do whatever I think I have to help these wards help us, right? So obviously in lower MMRs, it's unlikely that carry players will do what they need to do to keep your wards alive. But you can also say like, hey guys, play towards vision. Hey guys, like fight on this vision. It's like, these are the things that I'm telling you. If you don't say them, it's just net loss. Like, maybe your team just completely ignores you. Maybe they just don't listen. Maybe they have no idea what you're saying. Yada, yada, yada. But it's only beneficial, right? Only potentially beneficial to say these type of things. The thing is, like, a lot of people undervalue the possibility that their teammates know these things. And they're just, like, not communicating it. What I mean by this is like everybody thinks that like 2K players are just garbage. a lot of 2K players nowadays, they watch videos and shit. Like, they're actually learning. I see these games, and they're trying. They're bad at whatever they're trying to do, but they're trying. Like, they will... like, core players will try to play around wards a lot more than they used to. Will they do it well? Not necessarily, right? But people think that because, like, their teammates are bad, by doing this, it's just bad. But the thing is, if you're doing the correct warding, like, 100% of games, like, even if your teammates only capitalize on it 20% of the time, that's 20% of games that you're going to win that you previously wouldn't have won because you're warding properly, which means your win rate's going to be above 50%, which means you're no longer going to be in this bracket, which means you'll get to players that are more and more likely to do this, right? But, yeah, people tend to ask questions like that all the time. How to help your wards help you? I just don't know how many people would click a warding video. I'm really not sure. Yeah, I mean, if people are just dying to vision, it's like, the thing is, they would have died without the vision, so it's like the argument is the same. It's like, if they're dying when you still gave them vision, they were going to die without the vision. But you have to remember the games where you gave a guy a ward and he survived because of it. So if that same situation plays out 100 times and you saved somebody 20 or 30 times and the other 70 guys just died anyway, it was still a good play, right? So, I mean, that's just how you have to think about it. It's tough, but it's also obviously frustrating to give your core a ward, tell them somebody's coming, and to have them die. That's like an obviously frustrating situation. But like, that's your job. So if you want to win games, you got to do your job. Supports are trash. Yeah. No, honestly, I'd say everyone's equally trash.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Roscoe. I hope not. You know, I hope. Yeah, I mean, I don't even care if people do that, honestly. Equality in Dota 2? Of course. But okay, guys. I can confidently tell you, by the way, that up until about 10k, people will make trash mistakes. And you may say, BSJ, you're not 10k. Well, trust me, I make trash mistakes. So, you know, if you feel like people in your bracket are garbage and you're the only one dealing with it, trust me, you're just living in your own little world, okay? It happens in my bracket, too. It never ends. Stop being your own victim and pitying yourself, and fucking do what's right, and you'll climb more. But okay, guys, that's it for this stream. Reminder of the schedule! ! Schedule. I'm gonna run some ads to end the stream, but I'm gonna put my ending stream screen on, which also has the schedule. We do replay analyses / coaching potentially every Monday, Wednesday morning at this exact time. And then I go for a lunch break, do some regular things, and I come back at 3:30, okay? Come back at 3:30. 3:30 is 3 hours and 45 minutes from now, okay? So I do this morning stream, and then I come back 3 hours and 45 minutes from now, and that's going to be a pub stream, okay? That stream will guaranteed last until 8:30, okay? Guaranteed. But most of the time it'll go longer. That's just my hours that are on the schedule are the times where you will see me online, okay? So I'm going to show you guys the schedule in a second. It's going to be the same every single week. Mark it on your calendars. Get it in your own daily routine. Whatever it takes for you to show up at the times that you want to be here. I appreciate everyone who watched. If you're interested in signing up for replay sessions yourself, it's all through my Patreon. The slots are usually full, but they do open up periodically, especially towards the beginning of months because people usually cancel their subscriptions. So you can kind of just like tab in every now and then. You'll probably find one. If you're lucky. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back in 3 hours and 45 minutes flat. Hope you guys have a good lunch or dinner or whatever time it is for you during your day. How come this is EU time? Because I'm in EU! Okay, I'll see you guys later. Running a quick ad, but the stream is over for now. Bye-bye. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will